Hello, in this video we are going to deploy the cube and make certain edits to it. Just make sure that you are in the cube window and not the view. So let's go ahead and close the view just so we don't get confused. And then now we built this cube. Let's go ahead and deploy it. To deploy it, you need to go to this little recycle like icon, which is called as process, up here on the upper corner of the screen, left hand side. So let's go ahead and hit that. It's going to ask you a couple of prompts, and most likely we should say yes, but let's go ahead and look at that. Server content is out of date. Would you like to build it? Yes. This process may take some time. If it is asking you for your password, remember we created a password in the beginning, so go ahead and enter that password. Now up here I see that the deployment is completed successfully. It's a green check mark. And then we have some other things that we can change. So let's look at this dialog box that has appeared. I cannot see all the options, so I'm going to maximize it. And right here it wants me to run this. So let's go ahead and run this. So now you will see that the process has succeeded. We can go ahead and close this one and even go ahead and close the other. So we can even go ahead and close the deployment success. One of the things I would like to point out, at the bottom here you will see output and error list. I click on error list and then expand it a little bit to see that we do have some warnings here. They're not specifically errors, but some warnings. And some of them says that we need to create hierarchies in non-parent-child dimensions and that the database has no time dimension. And again, hierarchies in non-parent-child dimensions. These are some warnings, and it's because the system realizes that we would probably need that. We do have some parent-child relationships here and we have not made use of them so far. So in the next step, we will create some hierarchies and also the time dimension. Now, when we look on our right-hand side, right underneath the cube in the Solution Explorer, we have the dimensions. So we have 3 dimensions: dim batch, dim machine, and dim product. So let's go ahead and identify the hierarchies that we know of, and let's make sure to indicate them here. So dim batch doesn't have any hierarchy, but we know that in machine we have 2 hierarchies: dim machine type and dim plant. In the dim product we have again one hierarchy with 2 levels, such that product type can have multiple product subtypes, and then product subtypes can have multiple products. So let's go ahead and work on this. So what I would do is, under dimensions where it says dim product, I'm going to double click that, and then I will have this window to work with indicating hierarchies. You see in this window I have my attributes showing, so it says dim product. Then we have dim product code, product subtype code, and product type code. We can highlight these and then drag them into the hierarchy section. So what I'm going to do here is get the product type code, subtype code, and then the product code one by one. Let's go ahead, get the product type code here, and you will see a new box appear here, and you can add another level. So right underneath product type code, I'm going to select subtype code, bring it here. Then I have one more level added. To this, I'm going to add the product code here. Once again, let's go ahead and save all, so we keep saving our work. So now that we have our hierarchy specified, I want to go ahead and change some attribute relationships. So let's go ahead, and right up top here you will see a tab called attribute relationships. Let's click on that one. It indicates what is the hierarchy that we have specified. We are just going to click on each one of these relationship lines, and right now it says the relationship type is flexible. We want to change the type of relationship from flexible to rigid. So now to change the type of relationship, I'm going to click on one of these lines or relationship lines, and then it gives me the option to do relationship type. By the way, I right clicked on it and I will change it to rigid. Do the same thing here. I'm going to go to the relationship type and change it and make it rigid. And then once again, save all to make sure all our changes are being saved. So now as you can see, we have changed both of these relationship types to rigid, and this will help us down the road in avoiding a lot of errors. So right next to the attribute relationship, we have translations, and then we have browser. So let's go ahead and click on browser and explore this relationships. So in the browser, you see this dimension, and right now all you see is a bunch of numbers. So 2, 3, 4. These are basically the codes, and we don't know what these product codes mean. It would be good in that instead of product codes, we would be able to see actually the product names. Let's go back to our dimension structures, and you will see right here where we do have the product type. We also have the product type name. We also similarly have product subtype name and product name. So we do have all of these codes, and then there are corresponding names. It would be great to have those names also specified so it's more meaningful and human readable. So let's see how we can do that. So first thing we need to do is right here in the picture, you will see data source view. And we do have dim product type. So you want to highlight the product type name, and then I'm going to drag this over to the attributes pane and just drop it here. So it's right there. I will do the same thing for dim product subtype. Get the name, that is product subtype name, and I'm going to drag that over to the attributes pane. Do the same thing again for dim product. Then we have product name. I want to highlight that and take it down to the attributes pane. So now you can see in the dim area, you will have 6 attributes that are available. Now to make sure that we see the actual product name instead of product code in the hierarchy, we can select the product code under the attributes. You will see the property for this particular product code on the right hand side bottom, the property pane. You need to scroll down in the property pane to find one that says source. And underneath source, you have key columns. So I'm going to go to key columns. Right now it says dim product code. And right under the key columns, you have name column and value column. So I'm going to click on the name column, and then you will have these 3 little dots appear. Go click on it, and we are going to change. Right now it says product code. We are going to highlight product name and hit OK. So basically, instead of product code, I want this data to be coming from product name. We'll do the same thing to the value column right underneath the name column. So go select it. Then once again, you will hit the 3 dots. The dialog box opens, and instead of product code, you will highlight product name and hit OK. So basically what we have done is for product code, now the data is actually coming from product name instead of product code. We will do the same thing for subtype code. So I'm going to highlight the product subtype code and then go back to the property pane. Make sure it says property subtype code. I'm going to go down to the key column, name column. Once again, click on the 3 dots. Instead of the code, I'm going to click on product subtype name and hit OK. Right underneath, we have the value column. Click on the 3 dots for the value column. And then again, change the product subtype code to product type subtype name and hit OK. Then we need to do the same thing for product type code. So I'll go back to the attributes pane, highlight product type code. Make sure in the property pane it says product type code. Once again, go to the key columns. For name column, highlight it, go to the 3 dots, change it to product type name, hit OK, go to the value column, click the three dots, make sure we highlight product type name and hit OK. Now that we have made all these changes, once again, let's go ahead and save all. So basically what we just did was for product code, product subtype code, and product type code, all three of them, we changed the key column to the corresponding name for name column and value column. So we did 6 of those in total. Now we need to change another property. So I'm going to click on product type code, and then I'm going into the properties pane. Once again, scroll down to see in advanced. If you scroll down here, one of the ones says attribute hierarchy visible. So under advanced, this is for number 5, which says attribute hierarchy visible. Right now it says true. I'm going to change it from true to false. So we just did that for product type code. Let's go ahead and do that for the rest of them. So let's highlight product subtype code, go back under advanced. I'm going to attribute hierarchy visible, change it from true to false. Then lastly, product code, highlight it under properties, go to attribute hierarchy visible, change it from true to false. Now that we have done all of these changes, let's go ahead and save all. So now the next thing I want to do is rename this hierarchy as product hierarchy. So in the hierarchy pane, I will go here and highlight this. In the properties pane, you will see the name hierarchy pop up. So right underneath advanced, you have the basics. So let's go to the basic, and one of the attributes there is name. So right now it says hierarchy. I'm going to add the word product to it to make it product hierarchy. And you will see the name reflected right here. So maybe add a space in between to make it look better. So now this is product hierarchy. Let's go ahead and save everything, and we'll continue working on the machine dimension in the next video.